So today I'm going to be going through the thought process on how I created this art piece, because currently this is actually one of my favorite drawings because it has a background and just the lighting and I want to eat it, yum yum yum. So this drawing actually started out on paper. Sometimes I just like to doodle on computer paper because it kind of feels like kind of stressful to draw in my sketchbook sometimes, which is kind of weird. So I was just drawing on computer paper and decided to try to do like a more extreme pose. So I decided, you know what would be cool if I just took this to digital and actually made this pose like better. And that's what I did. So I tried to just fix up some things digitally because on traditional you can't just like grab the lasso tool and just move things around. So I try to exaggerate some things with the pose. And then after that I'm like, you know, it'd be really cool if I added a background. Because I already had the idea in my head, what if this character was outside? Because I already knew who I was going to draw in this pose. And that would be my character Scott, but we're not going to draw him like the details until later. And I'll tell you why in a bit. But as you could probably see from earlier, I was having quite a bit of trouble trying to figure out what background I wanted. So I decided to look on Pinterest because Pinterest be great. And I thought it'd be cool if like my character could be walking past like a flower shop or something. Because Scott, my guy, loves flowers. And I thought it'd be interesting if it was like a little like downtown area where it's like he's walking on the sidewalk kind of thing, and he's walking past some buildings like if he were in like Miami City or something. I don't know. Miami City? Or is it Miami downtown? I don't know. But back to why I didn't draw Scott first and then the background. I feel like backgrounds are supposed to be surrounding the character, not like the character be drawn first and then the background, because you're kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. I guess I just want the character to be in the background, not the background surrounding the character. I'm not really sure how to explain it. And also, I just wanted to try to get the perspective correct because I am not that great at perspective. I need to practice that. So I didn't want to draw like Scott all perfect and then it totally didn't match up with the background because backgrounds are hard and like it's easier for me to draw humans, so it would be easier for me to draw the person after the background. Man, that really hurt my brain to explain. But I imagine there's a small story going on with this art piece. Like, I imagine that my character Scott just sees his friends and he's like trying to wave at them. He's like, oh, hello! And he's all happy to see his friends. Like, he wasn't intending to see them. He's just like walking past a flower shop and yeah. And I thought it'd be cool if Scott was wearing different clothes than like usual, because usually my characters have like, you know, their signature clothing, like you always draw them in those clothes, but I wanted to try to change it up. And drawing Scott's new clothes was really hard to do. I think I drew this drawing before I did that video about like drawing my characters in different outfits, so that might have been helpful to do that, like Scott in that drawing. What the heck am I talking about? I'm not going to repeat that, just try to piece together what I said. But basically, after I was like basically done, I say basically like twice, I started adding more detail into the background because the background wasn't done. It was just like the basic building blocks were there, so I can move on to drawing my favorite part, like, you know, Scott the human being. Imagine people were titled that, like, for example, Pinkink the human being. Well, I guess that's what people do. Like, oh yeah, this is, for example, Clover the cat. You know, sorry, I totally went on a tangent there. Anyways, I just moved on to the line art, and sometimes I debate on what line art brush I should use because I don't always use the same exact one all the time. So that's what you saw at the beginning, me like fiddling around with like the line art brushes. But after I finally figured out what I was doing, I just continued doing line art. What was that? You heard that right in the sentence. Okay, here, let me replay it. Doing line art. Anyways, I'm gonna stop getting distracted. So basically, I just did line art for the whole background as well. But for the background, instead of using the same brush I used for doing line art for my character, I used a different brush that had more like texture to it because I feel like the main focus of the drawing is actually supposed to be the character, but it is also surrounded by the background. Oh, and now is where I start doing the colors. So something I really did not want to do is put very bright colors in your face, like a very saturated green and very saturated this and this and this, you know? Like, I wanted to make it pleasing to the eye, so I tried to like keep the colors in like, I don't know, basically I tried to make the colors look nice and not look like a baby just threw up. So after I was done with that, I just quickly colored my character Scott. At this stage, I just tried to put like the flat colors and not like render anything because we don't want to do that yet. So I just fixed up the background and color in any spots that weren't colored, and then I moved on to flowers. Once again, I looked on Pinterest because I don't draw flowers at all. There's this other drawing I drew of Scott, and whoa, those flowers are whack. But whatever, applaud the effort. I feel like that rhymes somehow. But basically I drew a whole bunch of flowers, and some of them I just copy and pasted because no way I'm gonna draw every single one of them unique because that's very time consuming. Here and there I added some purple flowers because I don't want it to just be pink, pink, pink because that's a lot of pink. My mom suggested to me that there should be windows for the flower shop, so that's what I tried to do. I'm not 100% sure that it looks like windows, but at this point I don't really care. I'm not really sure why there's a barber shop right next to the flower shop, but we don't need to think too much into it. And now I started to move on to shading. I added a little sun, and that kind of reminded me of like Veronica when she did a little short and just put the sun and started shading. I don't remember which short it was, but I know it was something, and you're welcome. I just shouted you out for free. If you don't know who Veronica is, she's a fellow YouTuber. You're welcome. Anyways, after I was done shading, I did some more shading and then some more shading. And then I started doing like highlights and just kind of like the lighting situation on my character Scott. And I feel like this is the part where the drawing really started coming together. And something that I do a lot is like I color and shade and do all that stuff to the drawing, and then I do like a layer over top the like line art and stuff, and kind of start doing like a painterly style kind of. Like here and there you can see that there's like hair, like strands of hair on Scott. Like I did that like on top of all the layers. And then I added this bright light to where I actually put the sun earlier on, so I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I also decided to blur the barber shop a bit, and then just everywhere like surrounding the photo, just because I want the main focus to be on the character, you know? And then I was basically done. I really like how with Scott's clothes, I kind of put bits and pieces of it, like things he likes. Like for example, on his shirt he has like a picture of a strawberry or little pocket thing because he likes strawberries, and also with the little patches on his like jeans. So we went from this to this. This drawing took me 2 hours longer than usual. Usually it takes me 4 hours for bigger drawings like this, but this one took me 6, which I guess is understandable because I don't really draw backgrounds. But I do hope that you guys liked this video. I know it's been a while since I posted a video, like a video, but yeah, anyways, goodbye. So I want to just give a thank you to Amoch_Angel or Amok_Angel, I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but for doing this lovely fan art of my character Pinkink. Well, my character is technically like my persona, it's technically supposed to be me, but whatever. I like how you render the irises, and the pose is great too, and I like how you put like some noise like on the whole drawing, and I feel like it's cool how the dots in the background fade from pink to purple. And it's also cool that you use pink line art.